judge has ruled that context is irrelevant, then surely even me reporting that he used the phrase gas the Jews is anti-Semitic. If context is irrelevant, I am right now inciting racial hatred according to the Scottish courts just by reporting the case. In which case, fuck it. If I'm going down in style. Higgskeil! Facts or doys have noiska! Never a fucking springtime for Hitler! And right, well, Tim, this is me miming being a Nazi fucking the Von Trapps.
On April 11th, 2016, Count Dankula posted a video titled, "Mate, your Doug's a Nazi." It went a little something like this.
My girlfriend is always ranting and raving about how cute and adorable her wee dog is, and so I thought I would turn him into the least cute thing that I could think of, which is a Nazi. Buddha, do you want to gas the Jews? Do you want to gas the Jews? Mum will gas the Jews, son. You want to gas the Jews? Do you want to gas the Jews? Come on, gas the Jews. Come on, gas the Jews, son. Come on. Do you want to gas the Jews? Do you want to gas the Jews? Do you want to gas the Jews? Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil!
Now, I've got to say, this is the first time I've ever actually seen a YouTube video in the limited state before. Yeah, a lot of people think that this little yellow monetization symbol is the limited state. It's not. That's just limited ad revenue. This is the limited state. No ads, no comments, no description, no votes, and no recommended videos. The only way you can even find this video is by directly flipping through Count Dankula's backlog. Unreal. Anyway, to anybody with a functioning brain, this video is clearly satire. Dankula says in it that he's not a Nazi, he just wants to piss off his girlfriend, by making her dog into the least cute thing he can think of, which is a Nazi. It's a joke. Dankula's a comedian, and the video is labeled as comedy on YouTube, though I'm surprised that wasn't also taken out due to the limited state restrictions. On the plus side, this video was what put Count Dankula on the map. Before this, his channel had subs in the double digits, but after somebody posted the video to Reddit, it made the front page and went viral. It didn't take long for the mainstream media to pick up the story too, and did so with its usual slant. Outrage as man trains Hitler dog to perform Nazi salutes and react to the phrase, gas the Jews. Guys, I think this is actually a very moral thing to teach a dog to do. I mean, would you want the dog to not react to the phrase, gas the Jews? Look at this reaction.
Gas the Jews?
It's like the dog knows what's being said is absurd, and is giving a look of derision. It's exactly what a human would do. Or maybe the people behind the mirror would rather live in a world where people don't react and are just okay with the idea of gassing Jews. The clip has raised concerns about growing anti-Semitism and has prompted a leading Jewish group to call for a zero-tolerance approach to online material which targets Jews or seeks to make light of the Holocaust. A spokeswoman for the Scottish Council of Jewish Communities said, "Anti-Semitism is not something that can in any degree be regarded as a joke. It is a form of racism which needs to be condemned, just as we would any other form of racism, just as we would condemn Islamophobia or anti-African racism." I don't know if Islamophobia is really the defense you want to hide behind here, lady. If Dankula were Muslim, and with that beard he might be able to make the claim, he wouldn't be joking about anti-Semitism, he would probably be an actual anti-Semite. Caliph Dankula's hatred of Jews would be legally enshrined and protected by UK law as a part of his Muslim heritage, and your complaints against him would be in fact Islamophobic. The council's furious director, Ephraim Borowski, directly challenged Mr. Meechan's claim that he was not a racist. To regard the meticulously planned and industrialized murder of 6 million people solely on the grounds of their ethnicity as a joke is outrageous, and for someone who does so to claim to not be racist beggars belief. Listen here, you retard. The Holocaust wasn't funny. What was funny was that he made his girlfriend's dog react in a cute way to disgusting phrases. This is like those morons who think that rape jokes aren't funny when the truth is they just don't get the joke. The joke isn't that rape is funny. The joke is that the person telling the joke is acting in such a way that they appear to lack a moral center during the course of the joke, to the point that they casually talk about rape like nothing's wrong with it, when the audience actually knows exactly what's wrong with rape. The joke was that Dankula knew his audience, his girlfriend, would be mad at the dog reacting to Nazi-themed commands. In fact, it's a joke at the expense of the Nazis. Look what Dankula himself says in the video. He outright states that he knows the Nazis are bad, and that's why he wants to make the dog a Nazi, in order to turn it into a bad thing. The Nazis are the butt of the joke, and you, Mr. Borowski, director of the Scottish Council of Jewish Communities, are coming to the defense of the Nazi Party with your outrage. That point is what I was getting at when I made this meme. Yeah, this one was crafted by yours truly. Finally, the Nazis and the Jews have teamed up to fight against their true enemy, comedy. But despite this being an obvious joke, Dankula was still charged with hate speech. Or to be more precise, he was charged with being grossly offensive under Section 127 of the 2003 Communications Act. The section in question states that a person is guilty of an offense if he sends by means of a public electronic communications network a message or other matter that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene, or menacing character. So yeah, offending somebody on the internet is a criminal offense in the UK. Remember this image? Remember when the people who would bitch and whine about somebody else's posts or emails on the internet were objects of widespread mockery and derision? I know I'm sure pining for those days, because now those people are the ones who will decide what you get to see and say and think and feel online, and they have the force of law behind them. The judge presiding over Dankula's case is Derek O'Connell. This piece of work has made a career out of handing down ridiculous sentences, like convicting a homeless man of violating the Firearms Act for possessing a bright orange toy gun, or allowing a consumer of 5,339 images and videos of child pornography to get off without any jail time. With a record like that, it's no surprise how the trial went down. Here's a few good highlights. 1. The trial was stretched out for 2 years. 2 years over this shit, including 1 extra month between the eventual guilty verdict and the sentencing, as a final parting fuck you. 2. During the handing down of the guilty verdict, O'Connell directly requoted the prosecution's arguments back to them word for word. 3. The prosecution didn't actually represent anybody except the Scottish police force, because there was no actual complaint filed against Dankula. In fact, the court documents read that the complaint came from the Scottish police, meaning that nobody was even offended enough to file charges. 4. Most damning of all, O'Connell exclaimed during proceedings that the court decides the context of the speech in question, not Dankula, not the defense lawyer, and not the video itself. This means that O'Connell has empowered himself to ignore reality if it means getting the verdict he wants. Do you know who else did this? Actual Nazis. Yeah, the real-life Nazi party in Germany went after a man for teaching his dog to hold up its paw in response to Sieg Heil. But unlike the Scottish police and courts, the Nazis quickly dropped the charges, realizing how ridiculous the whole thing was. Let me repeat that, in case you missed it. The actual Nazis were less interested in censorship than the current-day Scottish courts. On the day of sentencing, 2 protests sprung up. One in London, featuring a march through the city and speeches given via malfunctioning megaphone.
So there's a question on everyone's lips. Oh God. This question is so controversial that just asking it is to brand yourself.
And one in front of the courthouse, where this absolutely amazing exchange happened between Dankula and a reporter from the piss bucket known as Sky News.
On YouTube, you distributed an image, video of you in about in the space of a minute, teaching a pug dog to raise its paw in a Nazi salute. You said gas the Jews 23 times. What's funny about that?
The context of it is the juxtaposition of having an adorable animal react to something vulgar. That was the entire point of the joke. Have you seen the video?
Do you accept you committed a crime?
Have you seen the video?
I have.
Right, okay, and so I explained the context in it, so why are you asking me again?
Well, the context is that you've been fined £800 for a crime that you committed.
We're talking about the context of the video. Don't try and move on, mate.
We had in court.
Yeah, can I just ask, why did
we had in court that
No.
you committed gross offence against a large community of people. 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
You just said the statement a couple of seconds ago. Why should I consider your context if you're not concerning mine?
You've broken the law. Do you regret breaking the law?
You just broke the law 2 seconds ago when you said the phrase. Remember, context matters, mate.
Holy shit, it's almost like his nervous system got overloaded from the sheer shock of that ownage. But Dankula's right. If context doesn't matter, this reporter just broke the law. Hell, so did Roseanne back in 2009, where she dressed as Hitler and baked cookies shaped like Jewish people. Or John Cleese for his legendary Olympic goose step. In the end, after 2 years of rendering Dankula unemployable, after the worry and stress and financial burden, the sentencing came in on April 23rd, 2018. And it was an £800 fine. That's it. That's all. It's not an insignificant sum of money, sure. But in the bigger picture, this is O'Connell spitting in Dankula's face. He knew he couldn't get away with a serious punishment, so he used the court system instead to punish Dankula, and then hit him with a slap on the wrist at the end of it. The cost to the taxpayer for this entire circus was way more than £800, that's for sure. And if Dankula just said fuck it, paid the fine, and went back to a regular life, nobody would blame him. But he didn't. Dankula's decided to appeal, even if it's just a slap on the wrist. And good on him. I respect him for standing up for his principles. I'm honestly not sure if I could do the same thing if I were in his position. But he's right. This shit needs to be fought. A precedent needs to be set. Section 127 of the Communications Act is tyrannical and it has to go, period. And if Dankula's got a chance to do it through legal precedent, well, I hope everyone supports him. Oh wait, I don't need to hope, because his £100,000 Kickstarter hit £150,000 in 3 days. Do you know what this £150,000 represents? A giant chunk of people who are pissed off at the state of free speech laws in the UK, and are putting their money where their mouths are. At times, I honestly think that the authoritarians have just won, that liberty and democracy are relics of the past, that social justice is bound to become the new norm. And then, at other times, I look at the support coalescing around Dankula and free speech rights, and I suddenly feel a whole lot better about our future.